Let me ask you this. Who are you when you stand alone? What defines your worth when the world expects you to measure it through someone else's eyes? Sometimes society tells you that being single, being without a partner, somehow makes you incomplete. But that's a lie. Your value is not tied to a relationship status. It is found in how you carry yourself when no one is watching. This message isn't about justifying singleness. It's about finding your power, your identity, and your purpose, no matter what stage of life you're in. Life doesn't wait for someone to walk into your world to give it meaning. You've got to own your story, focus on your growth, and make sure that the person you're becoming is worth meeting. Whether someone joins you on the journey or not, being a man with no girlfriend doesn't mean you're behind. It means you have the freedom to build your foundation without distractions. This message is for every man who has ever felt pressured to define his life by someone else's timeline. It's a wake-up call to take control of your life, to rise to your potential, and to become the kind of man you respect when you look in the mirror. When you wake up in the morning and look in the mirror, what do you see? Are you proud of the man staring back at you? That's the real question. See, life isn't about waiting for someone to step into your story and give it meaning. It's about stepping into your own story and owning it. Building yourself up first, becoming the man you're meant to be, isn't just a good idea, it's a necessity. It's not selfish, it's foundation. Before you can give to others, before you can share your life with someone else, you've got to make sure that what you're giving is strong, whole, and worth sharing. You've got to build the man before you build the relationship. Too many people are out here looking for someone to fill the cracks in their foundation, hoping a relationship will patch up their insecurities, their doubts, their fears. But let me tell you something, nobody can do that for you. You've got to do that work yourself. You've got to roll up your sleeves and dig deep. Ask yourself the hard questions. Who am I? What do I stand for? What kind of life am I building? And most importantly, am I the kind of man I'd want someone else to be proud of? Now, this isn't about being perfect, because none of us are. It's about striving every single day to be better, to learn more, to grow. It's about making sure that when the storms of life come, and trust me, they will, you're not out here looking for someone else to hold you up. You've built yourself to stand tall, no matter what. That's the foundation you need. And when I say build yourself, I'm talking about every part of you. Build your mind. Fill it with knowledge, with wisdom, with discipline. Read the books that challenge you. Have the conversations that expand you. Never stop learning. Build your body. Treat it like the temple it is. Fuel it with the things that strengthen you, not weaken you. Stay active, stay moving, stay alive in every sense of the word. And most importantly, build your spirit. Get in touch with whatever it is that grounds you, that centers you, that gives you peace. Because a man who is spiritually grounded is a man who can face anything. Too often we think of relationships as the answer to our problems. We think that once we find the right person, everything will fall into place. But the truth is, no one is coming to save you. No one is coming to complete you. And that's not a bad thing, it's a powerful thing. It means that you hold the pen. You write the story. You decide who you're going to be. Imagine this, you're out there working on yourself, staying focused, staying disciplined. You're not out here chasing relationships or trying to prove anything to anyone, you're just building. And then one day the right person crosses your path. Not because you were looking for them, but because you were busy becoming the kind of man they'd want to meet. And when they see you, they see someone who's solid, someone who's whole, someone who's not out here looking to be saved. Speaker away. They see someone who's ready, not because they were waiting. That's the key. Don't wait. Work, don't wish, build. The time you spend single isn't time wasted, it's time invested. Every moment you spend building yourself up is a moment you're setting yourself apart. Because let's be real, not everyone is willing to do this work. Not everyone is willing to face their flaws, to confront their fears, to grow through their struggles. But if you make that commitment to yourself, you're going to stand out. And here's the thing. When you focus on building yourself first, you stop worrying about what you lack. You stop chasing things that don't serve you. You stop settling for relationships, jobs, or opportunities that don't align with who you are and where you're going. Because you've done the work. You know your worth, and when you know your worth, you don't settle for less. You start attracting the right people, the right opportunities, the right relationships, not because you're chasing them, but because you've aligned yourself with them. That's what happens when you build the man first. You create a life that's so full, so rich, so meaningful, that it doesn't need anyone to complete it. And that's the kind of life that draws the right people to you. So, I'm asking you, what are you building? What kind of foundation are you laying down? Are you spending your days scrolling through social media comparing yourself to people who aren't even living the life you want? Or are you out there grinding, learning, growing, becoming? Are you letting distractions pull you off course? Or are you staying locked in on the things that matter most? This isn't about perfection. It's about progress. It's about waking up every day and choosing to be better than you were yesterday. It's about refusing to let the opinions of others define you, refusing to let society rush you into things you're not ready for, refusing to settle for anything less than the life you know you're capable of building. And let me tell you something, when you do that, when you commit to building yourself first, something amazing happens. You stop looking for validation from the world. You stop needing someone else to tell you that you're enough. You know it. You feel it. You live it. And that kind of confidence, that kind of strength, it's magnetic. It's undeniable. It's the foundation of a life worth living. Let me tell you something about this world we live in. This noisy, fast-paced, always-on, never-off world. It's filled with distractions. Everybody has an opinion about what you should do, who you should be, and how you should live. They'll tell you what success looks like, what happiness looks like, what your timeline should be. But let me ask you this. Who's writing your story? Is it you or is it everyone else? Because if you're not careful, you'll wake up one day living a life that doesn't even feel like yours. This is where boundaries come in, and I'm not just talking about saying no every once in a while. I'm talking about building a wall around your peace, around your energy, around your purpose. Because not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone deserves to know your dreams. Not everyone deserves to walk the path you're walking. That's not arrogance, that's wisdom. And let me tell you why. There are people out there who will see your potential and want to dim your light. Not because they're evil, but because they're scared. Scared of your growth, scared of your strength, scared of the reflection you hold up to them, your success, your dedication, your vision. It reminds them of what they're not doing. And instead of stepping up, they'll try to pull you down. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're doing something right. You've got to protect yourself from that. You've got to be selective about who you let into your circle, who you share your dreams with, who you allow to speak into your life. Not everyone who claps for you is rooting for you. Not everyone who smiles in your face wants to see you win. And it's not about being paranoid, it's about being intentional. You have to recognize that your time, your energy, your focus, these are your most valuable resources. And if you're spending them on people or situations that don't serve your growth, you're wasting them. Think about it. How many times have you said yes to something or someone that you knew wasn't good for you? How many times have you ignored that little voice inside of you that said, this isn't right, just to keep the peace or avoid confrontation? How many times have you put yourself last, thinking it was the noble thing to do, only to realize you were draining yourself dry? Enough of that. Enough putting yourself on the back burner. Enough sacrificing your peace, your growth, your dreams for people who wouldn't do the same for you. That's not humility. That's self-neglect. And it's time to stop. Start drawing those lines. Start saying no without feeling guilty. Start prioritizing your well-being over other people's opinions. Because at the end of the day, you're the one who has to live with your choices. You're the one who has to carry the weight of your regrets, your missed opportunities, your unfulfilled potential. And trust me, that's a heavier burden than any momentary discomfort you might feel from setting a boundary. When you start protecting your energy, you'll notice something incredible. You'll start to feel lighter. You'll start to see clearer. You'll start to move with purpose, with intention, with a sense of clarity that you didn't even know you were missing. You'll stop chasing things that aren't meant for you, and you'll start attracting things that are. You'll stop wasting time on people who drain you, and you'll start spending time with people who fill you up. But here's the catch. Not everyone's going to like it. When you start setting boundaries, when you start protecting your energy, when you start putting yourself first, some people are going to fall away. And that's okay. That's not a loss. That's a blessing. Because the people who truly care about you, the people who truly want to see you win, they'll respect your boundaries. They'll understand that your no isn't personal, it's purposeful. And don't get me wrong, setting boundaries isn't easy. It takes courage. It takes self-awareness. It takes a willingness to have hard conversations, to disappoint people, to stand firm even when it would be easier to fold. But every time you do it, you're telling the world and yourself that you matter, that your time matters, that your energy matters, that your dreams matter. Think about it. If you don't value yourself, who will? If you don't protect your peace, who will? If you don't set the standard for how you're going to be treated, who will? This is your life we're talking about. Your one shot to do something meaningful, to leave a legacy, to live with purpose. Don't let anyone, no matter who they are, take that away from you. And here's a beautiful thing. When you start living this way, when you start setting those boundaries and protecting your energy, you'll inspire others to do the same. You'll show them what it looks like to live with intention, to move with purpose, to walk in your worth. You'll become a light, a guide, a source of strength for the people around you. And that's how you create a ripple effect. That's how you change not just your life, but the lives of everyone you touch. So be bold, be courageous, be unshakable, draw those lines, protect your peace, and stand firm in your worth. Because you're not just doing this for you, you're doing it for the person you're becoming, for the life you're building, for the legacy you're leaving. And that's worth everything. Let's talk about the kind of person you need to be when you're navigating this journey of life. Not the kind of person the world tells you to be, but the kind of person your spirit is calling you to become. Life is filled with choices, some big, some small. But every choice shapes who you are, what you stand for, and where you're headed. And if you want to live a life of substance, a life that matters, you've got to be intentional about who you are and how you show up in this world. Now let me tell you something about integrity. Integrity isn't about being perfect. It's about being real. It's about doing what's right, not what's easy. It's about standing tall when the pressure is on and not bending just because it's convenient. The truth is, the world needs more people with integrity. People who aren't afraid to live authentically, who aren't afraid to do the right thing even when no one is watching. Because integrity isn't just what you do when the spotlight is on you. It's what you do in the quiet moments, in the shadows, when no one's there to clap for you or criticize you. But here's the thing. Integrity isn't always glamorous. It's not always celebrated. In fact, sometimes it'll cost you. It'll cost you relationships, opportunities, and even some of your comfort. There will be times when doing the right thing feels like walking uphill in the rain with no end in sight. And in those moments, you might ask yourself, is it even worth it? Let me tell you right now, it is. Because while doing the right thing might cost you in the short term, the rewards in the long term are beyond measure. You gain peace of mind, self-respect, and a foundation that no storm can shake. And let's be honest, living with integrity in today's world isn't easy. The world will tempt you to cut corners, to take shortcuts, to compromise your values for a quick win. It'll tell you that it's okay to do whatever it takes to get ahead, even if it means stepping on others. But that's not true success. That's not real greatness. True greatness comes from building something that lasts, something that's rooted in truth, something that's aligned with your higher purpose. Here's what I want you to understand. Your character is your currency, not your talent, not your bank account, not your social media following, your character. That's what people remember, that's what people respect, and that's what will open doors for you that no amount of money or influence ever could. But building character takes work. It takes discipline. It takes a commitment to yourself and to the principles you believe in. You've got to decide who you are and what you stand for before life tests you. Because make no mistake, life will test you. It will throw challenges your way, temptations, situations designed to see if you're really about what you say you're about. And in those moments, you've got to know who you are. You've got to be so grounded in your values, so rooted in your purpose, that nothing can sway you. But let me warn you, living this way isn't for the faint of heart. It takes courage to stand alone, to say no when everyone else is saying yes, to take the harder path because it's the right one. It takes courage to hold yourself accountable, to admit when you're wrong, to learn from your mistakes and grow. And it takes courage to keep going when it feels like the world is against you. But that's the kind of courage that builds character. That's the kind of courage that changes lives. You see, integrity isn't just about what you don't do, It's about what you do. It's about how you treat people, how you handle adversity, how you use your influence and your gifts. It's about being a person of your word, someone who can be trusted, someone who lifts others up instead of tearing them down. And when you live with that kind of integrity, you become a light in a world that desperately needs it. Now, don't get it twisted. This isn't about being perfect. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to fall short. You're going to have moments where you don't live up to your own standards. But integrity isn't about never falling. It's about how you rise. It's about owning your mistakes, learning from them, and doing better moving forward. It's about being honest with yourself and with others, even when it's uncomfortable. And let me tell you something else. Integrity is contagious. When you live with integrity, you inspire others to do the same. You show them that it's possible to succeed without compromising who you are. You show them that true power comes from within, not from the things you accumulate or the titles you hold. And in doing so, you create a ripple effect that can transform not just your life, but the lives of everyone around you. Now, so ask yourself, what kind of person do you want to be? What kind of legacy do you want to leave? Because at the end of the day, it's not about what you have. It's about who you are. It's about how you live, how you love, and how you serve. And when you live with integrity, when you let your character be your guide, you'll find a sense of peace, purpose, and fulfillment that no amount of success or recognition can ever replace. When it comes to overcoming challenges and stepping into your power, it's not about avoiding the pain or running from the struggle. It's about embracing it. You see, life is going to test you. It's going to push you, break you down, and stretch you in ways you didn't think you could endure. And when that happens, when the weight feels unbearable, the temptation will always be to give up, to let it defeat you. But here's the truth. Growth doesn't happen in the comfort zone. Strength isn't forged in easy moments. The fire, the pain, the adversity, that's where transformation happens. Pain is a teacher, but only if you're willing to listen. So many of us want to numb the discomfort, to distract ourselves from what hurts, to avoid what's uncomfortable. But what if you leaned into it? What if you stopped running and started asking yourself, what is this pain trying to teach me? What is this struggle revealing about who I am and what I'm capable of? Because every challenge, every trial, every ounce of pain you face is an opportunity, a chance to learn, to grow, to rise stronger than before. When life brings you to your knees, you have a choice to make. You can let the weight of it crush you, or you can use it to rise. That moment, that decision, is what separates those who merely survive from those who thrive. Thriving doesn't mean the pain disappears or that the challenges suddenly stop. Thriving means you find a way to rise in spite of it all. You don't let the darkness define you. You find your own light and you let it shine brighter than the shadows around you. Now here's the thing about strength. It doesn't look the same for everyone. For some, strength is about taking bold action, standing up and fighting for what you believe in. For others, it's about patience, about endurance, about quietly holding on even when the storm feels relentless. And sometimes, strength is about surrender, not to the struggle, but to the truth of who you are and what you're capable of. It's about letting go of what no longer serves you, about releasing the fear, the doubt, the anger, and choosing to step into a higher version of yourself. You've got to stop looking at the struggle as your enemy. Stop thinking that the pain is here to punish you. The struggle is your ally. It's here to show you what you're made of, to prove to you that you are far more powerful, far more resilient than you ever thought possible. When you face a challenge, it's not about wishing it away or hoping it doesn't exist. It's about facing it head on, knowing that the very thing you're running from is what will set you free. There's a certain kind of clarity that only comes from being broken when you're at your lowest, when you feel like there's nothing left. That's when you truly see what matters. That's when you start to understand who you are and what you stand for. Because in the breaking, you discover your core, you find your truth. And that truth, that unshakable core, is where your strength lies. People will try to tell you who you are. The world will try to put you in a box, label you, limit you. But none of that matters if you know who you are. The challenge is to hold on to your identity, your truth, in a world that's constantly trying to make you forget it. And let me tell you, when you're living in alignment with your truth, when you're grounded in your own strength, there's nothing that can stop you. But don't get it twisted. Strength doesn't mean you won't feel pain. It doesn't mean you won't have moments of doubt or fear. Strength is about showing up anyway. It's about being vulnerable, about admitting when you need help, about facing the things that scare you instead of running from them. It's about understanding that fear is just a part of the journey, not the destination. You've got to stop giving your power away. Stop letting the opinions of others dictate your worth. Stop letting the past define your future. The only person who gets to decide who you are and what you're capable of is you. And when you realize that, when you truly step into your power, you become unstoppable. The world needs your strength, your light, your resilience. It needs people who are willing to rise, who are willing to fight for something greater than themselves. So don't hold back. Don't let the fear win. Don't let the pain keep you stuck. Use it. Let it fuel you. Let it remind you of why you started, of what you're fighting for. And remember, you're not in this alone. No one rises by themselves. It's okay to lean on others, to ask for help, to build a community that supports you. Strength doesn't mean doing it all by yourself. It means knowing when to reach out, when to lean in, and when to let others remind you of the power you already possess. The road ahead won't always be easy. There will be obstacles, setbacks, moments that test your resolve. But if you stay true to yourself, if you keep showing up, if you refuse to let the struggle define you, you will rise. You will overcome. And in the process, you'll discover a strength you never knew you had. When you're navigating life, there comes a moment when you realize that not everyone is meant to stay on your journey. People who once seemed like allies may show their true colors, and those moments, those revelations can hit you hard. It's like a gut punch, an ache deep in your soul, but it's also a wake-up call. Because sometimes the people who are closest to you, the ones you trusted, can turn out to be the ones holding you back. And when that happens, you've got to make a decision. You've got to ask yourself, are you going to let their energy drag you down, or are you going to step forward and take control of your destiny? The truth is, not everyone who smiles in your face has your best interest at heart. There are people who will stand beside you, clap for you, and even cheer you on until your success starts to make them uncomfortable. They'll act like they're rooting for you, but deep down they're hoping you fail. They'll say the right words, but their actions will betray them. And the hardest part? Sometimes these people are the ones you thought would ride with you no matter what. Family, friends, co-workers, it doesn't matter. When you start leveling up, when you start breaking cycles and stepping into your power, you're going to expose the intentions of those around you. It's not your job to fix them. Let me say that again. It is not your job to fix them. Some of us spend so much time trying to drag people along, trying to explain our vision to people who don't want to see it. We pour our energy into proving ourselves to people who will never acknowledge our worth. Why? Because we think we owe them something. We think loyalty means sacrificing our growth for their company. But let me tell you, real loyalty isn't about staying in the same place. Real loyalty isn't about holding yourself back so someone else doesn't feel small. Real loyalty is about growth, about pushing yourself, about becoming the best version of who you were meant to be. And if someone can't handle that, if someone resents you for that, then they were never truly loyal to begin with. You see, the moment you decide to step into your greatness, you're going to face resistance. People don't like change, especially when that change shines a light on their own insecurities. Your growth forces them to confront the areas of their lives where they've been stagnant, and that makes them uncomfortable. But that discomfort, that's their issue, not yours. You can't shrink yourself to fit into someone else's idea of who you should be. You can't dim your light just because someone else doesn't want to see it shine. And here's the thing. When you start cutting ties, when you start letting go of the people who don't align with your vision, it's not going to be easy. It's going to hurt, because even when someone isn't good for you, there's a part of you that holds on to the memories, to the hope that things could have been different. But holding on to what's hurting you isn't love, it's fear. Fear of being alone, fear of starting over, fear of the unknown. And in terms of loss, but I promise you, the moment you let go of what's weighing you down, the moment you create space for what's meant for you, that's when you'll start to feel free. Sometimes you've got to lose people to find yourself. That's not failure, that's growth, that's strength. And you know what? The right people, the ones who truly care about you, who truly want to see you win, they won't need an explanation. They'll celebrate your growth, not resent it. They'll stand beside you, not behind you. They'll challenge you to be better, not tear you down out of jealousy or insecurity. Those are your people. That's your tribe. But you've got to be willing to do the work. You've got to be willing to have the tough conversations, to set the boundaries, to say, I love you, but I can't let you hold me back. That's not cruelty, that's self-respect. And self-respect is the foundation of everything. When you respect yourself, you stop settling for less than you deserve. You stop tolerating disrespect, manipulation, and you start surrounding yourself with people who uplift you, who inspire you, who remind you of your worth. Don't let guilt keep you stuck. Don't let fear of judgment hold you back. The people who judge you for putting yourself first are the very people you need to distance yourself from, because your journey is yours. Your purpose is yours, and not everyone is meant to understand it. Not everyone is meant to walk with you, and that's okay. That's how it's supposed to be. When you start aligning with your purpose, you're going to attract people who align with it too. But you can't meet them if you're still holding on to what's behind you. You've got to let go to grow. You've got to release the weight to rise. It's not about being cold or callous. It's about knowing your value. It's about recognizing that you can't pour from an empty cup. It's about understanding that self-care isn't selfish, it's necessary. So, take a good hard look at the people in your life. Are they building you up or tearing you down? Are they pouring into you or draining you? Are they helping you grow or keeping you stagnant? Be honest with yourself. And then make the choice to surround yourself with people who bring out the best in you. People who inspire you, who challenge you, who love you unconditionally. Because those are the people who will help you rise. Those are the people who will remind you of your power when you forget. Those are the people who will walk with you into your greatness. And those are the people you deserve. When you reach the point where you've grown beyond the pain, where you've taken all the lessons from your struggles and turned them into strength, that's when you start to understand what real power feels like. Real power doesn't come from revenge or proving something to the people who doubted you. It comes from finding peace within yourself. It comes from knowing that no matter what they did to you, no matter how much they tried to break you, instead you used it to build something greater. You used it to rise. There's something incredible about the quiet confidence that comes from surviving what was meant to break you. It's not about boasting or seeking validation. It's about standing tall in the knowledge that you've endured, that you've come out on the other side stronger, wiser, and more resilient than ever before. And the people who tried to tear you down, they see it, they feel it, because the truth has a way of revealing. The truth has a way of shining through, no matter how much someone tries to bury it. But here's the thing, they're not your focus anymore. Their suffering, their karma, their realization of what they've lost, that's not your responsibility. It's not your job to check in on how life is treating them now. It's not your job to sit back and wait for their downfall, because your energy is too valuable for that. Your time, your focus, your light, it's meant for bigger things. It's meant for growth, for purpose, for creating the life you were destined to live. When you shift your focus away from the people who hurt you and toward your own healing and growth, something extraordinary happens. You start to see the world differently. You start to see possibilities where you once saw obstacles. You start to realize that the limits you thought existed were never real. They were placed on you by people who didn't want to see you succeed. And once you break free from those limits, there's no going back. Forgiveness becomes a part of that journey, but not in the way people often think. Forgiveness isn't about excusing what they did or letting them back into your life. Forgiveness is about releasing the hold their actions have over you. It's about saying, you don't get to control my thoughts, my emotions, or my future anymore. Forgiveness is freedom. It's the ultimate act of taking your power back. And when you do that, when you free yourself from the chains of anger and resentment, you make room for peace. You make room for joy. You start to see that the world is so much bigger than the pain you've experienced. There's so much beauty, so much possibility, so much waiting for you on the other side of healing. But you have to take that first step. You have to decide that your peace is worth more than your pride. You have to decide that your future is worth more than your past. And you have to be willing to let go of what no longer serves you, even if it's painful, even if it's hard. Because here's the truth. The best revenge isn't revenge at all. The best revenge is success. The best revenge is waking up every morning with a heart full of gratitude and a mind full of purpose. The best revenge is living so fully, so authentically that the people who doubted you, the people who tried to tear you down, can't help but see that they failed, they didn't win, they didn't break you. And now they have to live with the consequences of their actions while you rise higher than they ever imagined. But don't let their suffering define your happiness. Don't let their karma become your focus. Because your life isn't about them, it's about you. It's about what you're building, what you're creating, what you're becoming. It's about the legacy you're leaving behind, the impact you're making, the love you're giving and receiving. That's where your energy belongs. That's where your focus should be. It's not about forgetting the pain. It's about transforming it. It's about using it as fuel to propel you forward, to push you toward greatness. Because every tear, every sleepless night, every moment of doubt and fear, it all taught you something. It all prepared you for this moment. And now you have a choice. You can let that pain define you, or you can let it refine you. Choose to let it refine you. Choose to let it make you stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. Choose to let it open your eyes to what truly matters. Because when you do that, when you step into your power and claim your peace, you become unstoppable. You become a force of nature, unshaken by the storms of life. And let me tell you, there's nothing more powerful than a person who knows their worth. There's nothing more inspiring than someone who has faced the fire, walked through it, and come out on the other side shining brighter than ever. That's what you're capable of. That's what you're destined for. But it starts with a decision. It starts with a choice to rise above, to focus on your growth, to claim the life you deserve. So let them watch. Let them see the glow up. Let them witness your transformation. But don't do it for them. Do it for you. Do it because you owe it to yourself to live a life that's full, a life that's rich with meaning and purpose. Do it because you deserve to be happy, to be whole, to be free. And when you do, when you step into that freedom, you'll realize that the pain, the struggle, the heartbreak, it was all worth it. Because it led you here. It led you to this moment. It led you to yourself. This isn't about being single versus being in a relationship. It's about understanding your worth and living your life with purpose, no matter your circumstances. Remember, your value isn't tied to anyone else. It's found in who you are, what you stand for, and the impact you make. Keep building, keep striving, and when the time comes, you'll be ready, not because you needed someone, but because you became